Hi tubers, and welcome back. Today's project, I'm going to be changing a washer inside this faucet to keep it from leaking. If you have a faucet that looks like this, that's all corroded on the outside, you could be sure that under here it's just as bad. If you try to pry this out without taking any of the steps I'm going to show you, more than likely it's just going to snap off. So the first thing I'm going to do is try to get the screw out. Once I get it out, I'm going to spray some white vinegar inside the screw hole. I'm going to keep doing that for a couple hours, and it should soften up some of the scale. Once it softens up, I'll pull this off, then we'll get into the business of removing the stem and replacing the washer. Alright guys, I'm back. By spraying this with vinegar, I was able to loosen the screw and getting this handle off. It just took a little prying. I was surprised. This sink has been here for 40 years, and this is very hard water, and you can see the calcium that's built up around here. This was completely encased right here. It was just covered. I couldn't get this nut out that holds the stem in. What I did was to soak a rag in vinegar and just wrap it around, and during the course of the day just add a little more vinegar to it. Next day, which is today, I was able to pull this out. Now before you start on this, you want to shut your water off. Under the sink there happens to be two valves. If you don't have a shut-off valve, which is common, you have to shut your main water off. If you have city water, you have to shut the main water coming in. If you have well water, there's usually a tank in your garage someplace where you could just shut that water off, and then you would drain the water out before you start this. If you're not sure which one's leaking, the hot or the cold, just shut one of them off and see if you still get the leak, if you have the drain underneath. If not, just change both of them. You should be able to feel it, but if not, just change both of them. This one I have already taken out, and it didn't look like this when I started. When you take this out, you want to keep things in order. Get your handle, keep your screw, and keep your parts together. Yours may or may not look like this. There's different types of setups. And what's causing the leak on this one here is this little black washer. Not to the point where it's pushed down and it's just not making a tight enough seal. It's not the problem in here, but if you see in there, there's a seat that's down in here. If that seat is damaged, you used to have to change those. The guys that were working used to just clamp down on those faucets and those seats would go. And if you have to pull that seat out, you use a tool like this that goes in there, and you simply screw it out and put another one in. But that seat is fine. We don't have to mess with that. And just for the sake of time, I had this soaking in vinegar, in a cup of vinegar, to clean off in here. When you go to take this screw out, use a screwdriver that's big enough. Don't use a screwdriver that's smaller than the slot. This is a little too big, because these will strip out on you, and then you'll have a time trying to get it out. Okay, for 40 years, that's not bad. Now, I haven't bought one of these washers in a long time. Most of the sinks I have don't use these anymore. But they used to be like 10 cents each. Another thing, when you're working on the sink, have something in your drain, so if you should drop a screw, it's not going to go down your drain. I have my drain plugged right now. Okay, and this is it. I'm going to go to the hardware store, pick a couple of these up, and when I come back, we'll install the new one. I want to point one other thing out. I loosened this handle also, and if you can't get this handle off, this is the tool that you would use. It looks like a pulley puller, but it has a long stem over here. The stem goes into the hole after you pull the screw, get the screw out. goes underneath. This was done already. This one wouldn't come out. I had to use the tool. This won't come out the way it is right now. It's just solid. They sell these washers in kits of all different sizes. But if this is the only sink that you have, the best thing to do is to take this piece in with you so you can get the right one that fits in there. If the washer is solid like this is, you can take the washer in itself. A lot of times when you take these apart, these washers are all chewed up and you couldn't go by the washer. You would have to actually go by the seat itself. I'm going to go pick up the washers, and when I come back, we'll install it. Alright guys, I'm back with the washers. Now, I went to a hardware store. I picked up the washer. These were 50 cents each. I needed 2 of them. A pack of 6 was $1. So I'm good for the next 40 years with these extra washers. Before I left, I pulled this washer out. I did get the other stem out. This was all packed with the calcium. I soaked it in the vinegar and loosened it up. Now you can see the differences between these two. This is pretty worn down. This one over here, I don't understand why it was leaking. Let me show you something. Again, when you're working over the sink, you want to make sure your drain is plugged. There. If we take a look at this, it is worn. But years back when I used to have to change these on the regular, I had them sometimes that were all chewed up and they were barely leaking at all. The only thing I could figure is that this being there so long, maybe it's just so brittle and you just can't make a real tight contact. When I put these side by side, you would think this blue one, the new one, would be a little thicker. But by eye, it looks the same to me. We'll put this together and we'll finish this up. Put the washer in. Here the screw. It's a little snug. Now, you want the stem up. When you shut your water off, the stem goes down. So you want the stem up while you're tightening this in. Don't forget there's a little ring. Now, when I was at the hardware store, I should have just picked up another one. Let me clean this up. Snug it down. And we'll get this other side. See how easy that strips? And then add that screwdriver right in there. It's popped right out. Now, on some of these faucets, the washers will be like a cone, will be beveled. So whatever you take out, just install the same way. I'm going to snug this up, put the handles back on. That's just simply putting the handles on, tighten the screw. I have to crawl into the sink to turn the water on. Once I do, I'll be back. Alright guys, I'm back. And I was able to stop that drip. But now, I have this problem with the faucet handle. This is all corroded in here. I don't know if you can pick that up. And it has these splines that connect onto the spline on the stem. I've had this happen before, and usually you just tighten the top screw and it's enough to tighten it and loosen it. In this case, there's too much of it missing. This handle's not going to work. So if you have an old style faucet with a stem, now you know how to change that washer. It's a simple repair. The biggest problem is all this calcium I had built up. Usually if you have a faucet like this, you're not going to bother repairing it anyway. This was just a demonstration on how you could change the washer on the end of the stem to stop a leaky faucet, to get rid of that drip. Well everyone, if you found this video useful, let me know by posting your comments down below, giving it a like, and if you haven't done so already, subscribe. Just hit that Joe Z button up there. Right up there, you hit that Joe Z button, and whenever I upload a new video, if you hit the little bell on the other side of this screen, you'll be notified every time I do a new video. And until next time, stay safe.